So last year we heard something about technology. Today we're going to hear something about technology from our good friend, Mr. Young. Let's give him a big, warm welcome.
Unlike many adults in this room, my digital life is pretty similar to a lot of the students sitting here today, but also really different. I'm going to share with you some of the story of my digital life, and then also explain why the students in this room need to be a lot smarter than I was when I was their age. Otherwise, you can get tricked and not even realize it. Like many of you, I have had a digital device from the time I was pretty young. My family got our first computer in 1987 when I was 5 years old. I'm pretty sure that this was the advertisement that convinced my dad to get a computer. At the time, computers were really hard to use, but he figured if a wrestler can do it, I can do it. Having to learn how to use a computer at a young age was what gave me some of the skills, but most importantly, the confidence to learn more about them as I got older. Obviously, in my job today, I still get to learn how to use technology. Starting in second grade, the rule was that I had to read at least 1 minute for every minute I spent on the computer. This was fine by me since I like to read a lot. While I played some games meant for kids, I also played a lot of games that were meant for people of any age. You can see here some of my favorite books and computer games from when I was in second and third grade. Then, when I was in fourth grade, we got our first modem, which is how you went online at the time. Here's what it sounded like. Did you notice how long that went on for? Yeah, it goes on for a long time. So the first ways that I went online weren't even really the internet. They were through companies called Prodigy and American Online. You could go on there and learn interesting things or even play some games. But even a game like checkers could take days because you'd make your move and then sign off to wait for the other person to make their move. Since you had to pay by the minute to go on these services, I didn't spend a lot of time going there. This is what made part of the invention of the World Wide Web and the web browser so exciting. You no longer had to pay by the minute, and there were websites from around the world. I started going on the real internet either in late 6th grade or early 7th grade. Going online back then, however, was slow. Here's what Yahoo's webpage looked like when I was in 9th grade. We had a better modem by then, but it would still take maybe 30 or so seconds for this page to load, and this was one of the faster pages. Going on the internet was slow enough that I used to read magazines while I waited for web pages to load, which didn't count for my time I had to be on the computer. By comparison, here's what Yahoo's site looks like today. And when I went there, it loaded in about 1 second. Today, I still go online and play games. In fact, some of the 5th graders know that occasionally in the mornings, before school starts, I might even be playing one of my favorite games, Clash Royale. But Clash Royale is actually a great example of why I think you need to be smarter than I was growing up. Games and websites are very different today than when I was playing games in elementary school or starting to really go online in middle school. The people who make apps and websites now are trying to do different things, and they've gotten smarter. That's part of why you need to be smarter too. Let's talk about 4 tricks that they use and how you can avoid falling for them. Trick 1 is that they try and get you to visit their website or apps often. A lot of games like Clash Royale will make you want to do things in the game. You can see here that I'm having to wait about 4 hours to do something. They are hoping that I will keep coming back to their game throughout the day. Lots of games are like this. So tip 1 to avoid beating these tricksters, is to not only limit how much total time you spend on a digital device, but to think about how many times you're using the device in a day. It might be better to go on a device for 30 minutes once than to go 3 times for 10 minutes each. This is probably a more important tip because as you get older, because of the ways that the people who make apps and websites are really smart, and they want to use your brain against you. They will use tricks to make you stop thinking or to try and make you really, really want to do something, even if there are things you should be doing instead, like your homework, or building Legos, or reading, or playing with your friends. Don't let them trick you into using their apps too much. Trick number 2. I want to talk about how app makers try to make it hard for you to ignore them. They act in a way that I'm guessing is pretty similar how you might act if you want your parents' attention by trying to be impossible to ignore. Except in this case, these are the apps, and these are you. So the trick is not to allow the notifications in the first place, and then you don't have to try to resist it. Instead, you should decide when you're going to visit a website or use an app. Don't let them interrupt you and try and capture your attention, steal it away. This might not be as important now, but as you get older, it's probably the most important advice I'm going to give you today. If you see a notification for something, it's really hard to ignore it, so just say no to notifications. Trick number 3. Once an app or a website has your attention, they try to keep it. Like when you go on YouTube and after you're done watching one video, it automatically suggests another video for you to watch and then start playing it for you. You don't need to do anything, it just goes. Since you don't have to think, you just keep watching more videos. This makes it super easy to get sucked into watching way more videos than maybe you had meant to or that you should. So just like how you want to turn notifications off, think about turning Autoplay off. To do this in YouTube, you just click on the Autoplay button on the right. You can still watch another video, but now you're back in control of what you're doing. YouTube does make you turn it off every time you use the site. However, you can turn off Autoplay in other popular video sites like Netflix, and it'll even stay off for you. The final trick number 4, that they use is how much they cost. When I was in elementary school, a game would cost about what it would be $90 today. Yeah. It took me a long time to save up my allowance to buy a new game, or I had to get it as a gift. Now a lot of apps and websites appear to be free, but as the famous expression goes, there's no such thing as a free lunch. This means that even if they seem to be free, they're not really. There are 3 different ways that something might appear to be free and really isn't. The first way that they make money is through selling online ads. These can be annoying or make us want things that we wouldn't want otherwise, or even be tricked themselves, like when they promise you a free gift card if you just click here. The second way is that the thing that the companies are selling isn't really the app or the website. It's you. Some websites and apps will try to get private information about you and then sell that private information to other companies. Your private information is yours and should stay private. For the final way, let's go back to Clash Royale as an example. As you might remember, sometimes I have to wait time, unless I'm willing to pay some gems and spend some money. In other words, some apps and websites will try to make you spend some money in the game. This can be okay, but frequently there are better ways to spend your money, like on something you only have to spend once and then you get forever. So the final tip is to always know who is paying for the apps and websites you're using. If it's not you or your parents, how is the company making money, and are you and your parents okay with it? So let's review our 4 tips to avoid tech traps. They are 1, limit time on screens and the number of times you're using a screen. 2, disable notifications. 3, turn off autoplay. And 4, there's no such thing as a free lunch. Use apps and websites you only have to pay for to use once. Can you advance? Oh, I see. I forgot. And with these tips, you will be able to be smarter and smart enough with technology. Where's my graph? There we go. Thank you very much.